Go, 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 you go. What? Welcome back to the cabin. As always, welcome back to the cabin. So this is my home. The story behind it. Okay, so I found myself kind of stuck in life, and the opportunity came to tear down an historic old log cabin and restore it. And so the old logs here were given to me by one of my customers. I'm a chimney sweep by trade. They had this old log cabin. They were looking for a place for it to go. So that's where the old logs come from. So then, in order to get a deeper connection to my home, I wanted to get a mill to make each piece, to cut each piece, so that when it was done, it was all authentic, all mine, all hand done. I knew it well. So come on in. We're gonna start here with the front door. Everybody loves the front door. And we have to say hi to Lavender. Lavender, come. Say hello. This is Lavender. She's my baby girl. My baby girl. The front door weighs 300 pounds, and it is the center support of the original log cabin. It was actually rotted off halfway across, so it only had half of that support. But I wanted to do something that was special with that center support of that cabin that would mean something to me, but also the future. So I actually milled that down and then handmade the hardware for it so that it would be an authentic door, and that door weighs 300 pounds. Come on in. I'm a chimney sweep, as I told you, by trade. I woke up one morning in what would have been this part of the log cabin, but at the time was, or not, excuse me, this part of my home, no log cabin, would have been my kitchen, my living room. I woke up with this thought that I wanted to build a log cabin. And I do a lot of inspirational writing, and I called it The Painter because that's what it was like. It was like in my brain, I was standing behind someone watching them paint a beautiful picture. And they were painting a log cabin, and they painted this big, beautiful fireplace. And they painted this big, long, flowing front porch. And for some reason, whatever this was had me convinced I could do it. I was driving to work, going out to sweep a chimney. On the way there, that thought just kept getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And as I told you out in the driveway, I was stuck. Recently divorced, didn't know where life was going. I got to my first customer's house, and I'd been going to these places for 20 or 30 years, and the people were always so kind. And the lady said to me, she said, what's going on? And I'm like, I think next year I'm gonna build a log cabin. A Lincoln log cabin is what I said, because I didn't know. And she threw her hands in the air and she said, why would you do that when you can build a real authentic 1800s log cabin? And I said, I don't have one. And she said, but I do, and I want you to have it. I do, and I want you to have it. Come down this weekend. My husband and I have been looking for someone to tear it down. Because it's starting to fall down, come take a look at it. And if you want it, come tear it down, you can have it. And I did. So that's what got it started. I went, I looked at it, it was falling down. Half of it had to be thrown away. All of these, like I say, are all old, but everything else I built around it. I milled this and built it. The rungs actually did come off an original barn ladder. All of the beams that are in the top there were on that property, but not part of that log cabin. They were, from what I understood, an old church, like from the 1700s. And that was part of what I got from that property too. This one tree here was about 36 inches wide, and it made up all of the roof trusses and all of the front planking on the porch. Now the other two is all the siding all the way around the cabin, and you'll get to see that here shortly. All come from this tree and then one more up here. So those 3 trees gave me all of the wood I needed for the entire cabin.
That's incredible.
Yep, all of it. On the inside, I just wanted it to be authentic and real. I wanted people to feel like they stepped back in time when they came here. And we started out with, the potbelly stove, that everybody sees those for an old log cabin, but all the walls are authentic, old, historic logs, predating the United States of America. This log cabin was built for the widow and her children of a man who died in the War of 1812. So that puts these logs at being older than the United States altogether. Each of these top beams, the joists for the cabin were made from that one tree that we seen up on the hill where that stump is at now. Weathered with vinegar and steel wool. If you mix the two together and you just get the right consistency, you gotta be careful with oak though, because it will go black. But you get just the right mixture and you can get just the right color, which is what I worked out with. So when I was building the walls of the cabin, I really had no idea what I was gonna do up there. You know, I was just sort of building step by step by step. And when I got up to the top, I had thought different ways of building it, but knowing it was gonna be timber frame no matter what. Like I just wanted it to be authentic. But one day, as I was walking out the front door, of course, no roof yet, and I stepped out across the ground, I actually almost tripped over a beam that I tore off of the other log cabin. Matter of fact, that beam is actually laying right here. That is one of the original trusses from the original log cabin, and I almost tripped over that beam. When the thought come to me, why don't you just do it like it was done? Why not just do it exactly the way the people did it when they built the original log cabin? So that's what I did. I just sort of copied the style that was used back in the original 1800s home, and I built it exactly the way. Where the collar ties are at and the dimensions, everything is just the exact same as it was back in those days. One of the most incredible things I found in the old log cabin is actually under that kitchen table. And that is I found the original trap door that they would use to escape. It could have been part of the Underground Railroad. And it was actually found in the kitchen, under the kitchen table. So I actually reinstalled it back under, here, watch out, Lavender. This right here is the original trap door that you can actually go right down into the basement. This log cabin had a partial basement, a dugout, but that door, you could have went down and escaped out the back of the cabin. So when I tore down the old log cabin, I tore down the old fireplace that was in the cabin and just kept all the stone. The only stone that I kept sorted out of the pile was the original arch stone. I kept those so that I could make it look as authentic as I could to what was there. And then I just rebuilt the stone with my knowledge that I gained being a chimney sweep. So of all things here, I have more knowledge here than I do any of that. I wanted it to look as real as possible for the period. So the fireplace is actually exposed on the outside because I didn't have enough logs. I didn't have enough long logs to tie this wall together. So what I did was just brought the fireplace through the wall and made it so you could see it on the outside. And it also eliminates the hot spot. Yeah. Most homes that burn down from a fireplace burn down because this part of the wall gets too hot. Yeah. So this eliminates that. You know, if that gets a little bit warm, it's going to be outside to cool off. Yeah. So it's okay. All of these, the board and batten, that's all from one of those other trees. The wagon even too. That's part of the leftover oak wood from those too. All done on my mill, yep. And again, this is part of the old home, but I just took all the vinyl siding off and put board and batten on it. This is my pizza oven. Now this has been here long before the mill, and it is fired up. And that's where my slabs go to heat it up. Yeah, that's a wood fire you can actually see in there. So that's where all my slabs go. We have pizza parties. And this is Johnny Appleseed's tiny cabin. This is the one, we use this for a teaching tool. So the story behind it was, I have a cousin up in upstate New York who is an x-ray tech. And he was like, can I come to your house and stay for a week? Is there anything we can do? And I remembered another friend saying, Johnny Appleseed needs a little log cabin to live in. So when he wanted to come down, I'm like, come on down. So he gave up the x-ray tech for a week, came down, I taught him how to use the sawmill. He milled all the pieces for me, and then I did all the cutting on the corners.
Wow.
So we milled that whole thing. Now, there is nothing holding it together. It is literally just stacked. We just brought it back up from downtown and assembled it here on top of the hill so the kids can see it from below. And it will go back downtown for Christmas with the Nutcrackers.
Are they here?
They're not here. You can see them though on your way out. Go downtown, they're at the car dealership in the window. Johnny Applecrate was born because I was building apple crates and my brain said to me, what if Johnny Appleseed was an apple crate? And then using what I knew about Johnny Appleseed, this person larger than life, full of life. Did you know that Johnny Appleseed was more of a lumberjack than he was an apple planter? He was, you know, the movies and things have always painted him as this little tiny guy that he was not that guy at all. He was more of a lumberjack. He was more of a log cabin builder. He grew up a pioneer in those days. So that's why I built him like I did, larger than life. And then my cross too, I built it before I built any of these other things and put it here on top of the hill so that people can see it when they drive down that stretch. I mean, it's lit every night so that people can see it from below. What made me get a mill, it was for that deeper connection to my home. Instead of going someplace and buying wood that was pre-made at a box store, or instead of calling a sawmill and getting something milled, I just wanted to do it all myself. And it's a good thing I did. I got my mill in the early spring of 2020 and you couldn't buy a piece of lumber. And I had all kinds of time off because it was 2020. Everybody had time off. Why woodland mills? To be honest, I went on YouTube. I do a lot of research on everything I do. Did the research. Woodland mills was the best bang for the buck. A great mill at a great price. There were other mills that were much more expensive, but when I put them side by side, I couldn't see the benefit of spending that much more money. So that's why I went with Woodland Mills. I wanted something that was definitely gonna work for me. I mean, I was asking it to do big work, so I needed something that was gonna do the work and the best bang for the buck. I mean, it just all the research said that's what I want right there. So that's why I went with the Woodland Mills. So every one of the roof joists and every single board on this front porch came from one tree. All of the top beams came from the two 14-footers, and then the last piece was a large 8-foot log, white oak, and every single one of these beams, I think they were close to 30 inches when they were wet, and they're down to about 29 inches now. That is the tree that we went and seen up on the hill, where that stump is. Yep. Come sit down. Go girl, sit. Go girl. Last year around Christmas time, you know, everybody hits that low, you know, especially if you're a single person living alone. My daughter lives here, but still, I bought a bunch of these Nutcrackers for my friends to paint. So we wound up having a Nutcracker painting party at my house where we painted these. Well, if you have a creative mind, it will look at that and go, I bet you I can build that life size. And that's exactly what I did. I just analyzed each piece of this thing and then scaled it up to be 7 foot tall. And then as far as the painting goes, you just kind of make it come to life. Yeah. Just bring it to life. So that's how they were born. Each one of those were made from trees that I cut down. Cut down trees, milled each piece. So I turned each piece to match the scaled up version of that. So while I was building the log cabin, I got a text from a friend who said, would you like to play the part as Johnny Appleseed for our festival? Now here in Lisbon, the Johnny Appleseed Festival has been running since 1968. There's only been 4 people to play the part as Johnny Appleseed in our community. It's a lifelong commitment. So when you take it, you just do the best you can do with it for the rest of your life, and then you pass it to somebody else. And I got this text that said, would you like to play the part as Johnny Appleseed? And of course I said no, because I had part of a log cabin, no roof over my head. I was too much thinking about the things that I needed to do for myself. It was probably a month later, I was having coffee with my mom when I heard a voice that said, who was Johnny Appleseed? So I started to research this person that we call Johnny Appleseed because I didn't know who he was. And I found out he was more than just a guy who planted apples. He was a He was a log cabin builder. He was a lumberjack. He was a missionary. I have done all those things. Like, I was in the middle of building a log cabin. I've already cut trees down. I've tore down a log cabin. I've done missionary work. As I started to look back through this person as Johnny Appleseed and reflect on my own life, I looked at my mom and said, Mom, I might be Johnny Appleseed. So I think this is something I should be doing. That's when I got a hold of the people that ran the Appleseed Festival, and I'm like, hey, is that still available? Because I really think I'm supposed to do it. And they were like, if you want it, it's yours. I just sort of fell into it that way because I felt like there was someone else telling me I should do it. Now, as it comes to the characters Johnny Appleseed, the tiny log cabin, the Johnny Applecrate, the job that I do is because God asked me to do it. And his word promises, if you just do all that you can do, I'll pick up the pieces. I want to do my very best with everything that he gives me to work with. And that includes this home, that includes the tiny cabin, that includes my role as Johnny Appleseed. It's a leap of faith.
Yeah.
All of it. Huh. I think it's my desire to get away from the rat race. I've been a chimney sweep all my life. I've been a mason all my life. I've been like busy. I've had people wanting me to do things for them all my life. And I think it's the want to find a simpler way. To understand that we don't need everything that's thrown at us, that some days it's okay to just get in a rocking chair and sit on the front porch with a cup of coffee.
It's a 54 Volvo, and it's the first year that Volvo made a car for America. I drive it all over the place. It's super fun to drive. But this is our less expensive version of this. So this, Jay bought both of them. They're both from Maryland, actually, two different owners.
Very cool.
Cashmere interior, though. So this is a 48, and they call it a Chevy Fleetwood. So this is automatic. Power windows. Now they left this just to make it look vintage still. So I mean, you know, what do you buy a man that has everything?
Yeah.
So I thought, we live in the middle of 50 acres. We just live in the woods, you know. And so I got a log, and my plan was I wanted to surprise him. And it's a long story, but we ended up buying a house that was Jay's shop teacher built it.
Okay.
So if you can imagine, it's all wood.
Yeah.
It's a crazy shaped house. Wooden steps that he had the kids in the shop class build, you know. So I took a piece of wood from the property to give to Jerry to make me just some kind of like a keepsake box. Mm-hmm. But it was just an old log because Jay was always with me. I wanted to get a piece of wood that his shop teacher like had used this one tree for the kids, and he was always with me, and I wanted it to be a surprise. And I knew if he saw me out there cutting a tree, he'd be like, "What's going on
What is
here?"
happening?
So one day we were going to work, and he was already in the car. So I ran back to the woodshed, and I picked up a big log and put in there. So I gave that log to Jerry, and I think it tested all of his skill. And
Yeah, because I think he said that he milled it up and everything like that too, right? Yeah.
the most beautiful box. I mean, it was exactly. I just kind of gave him ideas. He knew exactly what to do. It was beautiful.